Question number 5. The table shows the relative frequency of the games won by a football team. So, the relative frequency for winning is 0.1. The number of games lost is twice the number of games drawn. So, the number of games lost are twice the number of games drawn. So if the number of games drawn are x, number of games lost should be double, which will be 2x. So we need to complete the table, and since it is relative frequency, we know that the total of a probability is 1. So you can add 0.1 plus 2x plus x is equal to 1. Therefore 0.1 plus 3x is equal to 1. 3x is equal to 1 minus 0.1. 3x is equal to 0.9. Therefore x is equal to 0.9 divided by 3, which is 0.3. So here we find the value of x. So for x we can write 0.3. And since the games lost is double, they are going to be double of 0.3, which is 0.6. Next question, question number 6. The scale drawing shows the positions of two towns P and Q. So this is a town P and this is a town Q. The scale is 1 centimeter represents 4 kilometers, which means if I draw a 1 centimeter line on the paper, in reality it will represent 4 kilometers. Now if I want to show a distance of 4 kilometers, it is not possible for me to show it on the paper. So we make a reduced scale and we show as per the reduced scale. Now find the actual distance between the town P and Q. So when we measure the distance between P and Q using a scale, so we connect the points P and Q using a scale, and we use our scale to measure the length in centimeter. So when we measure the length in centimeter, this length should be between 8 centimeters to 8.4 centimeters. So it should be between 8 centimeters to 8.4 centimeters depending on the print. So due to print, the length of the distance between P and Q may vary, but it should be between these two. So once we measure the distance on paper, we know that the distance in real life is 1 centimeter means 4 kilometers. So for part A, find the actual distance between P and Q. So let us assume if the distance was 8 centimeters here. So I'm going to do 8 into 4 because 1 centimeter is 4 kilometers. 8 centimeters will be 8 into 4, 32 kilometers. Depending on what is your measurement, you may have your measurement as 8.2 for example. So if your measurement is 8.2 centimeters here, then you're going to do 8.2 into 4, and that will be 32.8 kilometers. Alright, moving on to the next part. Measure the bearing of town Q from town P. Now what is bearing? Bearing is nothing but angle. So bearing is angle. We are familiar with the concept of angles from a very small grade. So bearing is the same thing as an angle, but the only thing that makes bearing different is the angle measurement starts from north. So this is going to be our 0 degrees. If we want to keep our protractor, we keep it in this position. So this is the center of the protractor. And the question says measure the bearing of town Q from town P. Now whenever we hear the word from, we should know that that is our starting point. So we have to start measuring from P up till Q. So when we start measuring from P, so this is P, I keep my protractor here and I need to find this angle which goes up till Q. So this is the angle I need to find here. So you will keep your protractor as I have shown here. Since this is 0 degree, we will keep the protractor in this position, and this is the angle that is our answer. So when you do that, you get the answer as 65 degrees. Bearings are always represented by 3 digit, so when it is 65 degrees, we write it as 065 degrees. So the answer here is 065. One more thing about bearing is always measured in clockwise direction. So I'll just write it here. Bearing is nothing but angle. It's just measuring angle. So the first thing, it will go clockwise. Second, it will start from north. And third, it is represented by 3 digits. Okay, these are the special things why we call it bearing and not angle. Next question, C. Town X is 28 kilometers from town P on a bearing of 140. Now there is another town X which is 28 kilometers from the town P. Here is our town P, and there is somewhere town X which is 28 kilometers from town P on a bearing of 140. So again from town P, so that means our bearing starts at P again. So this is the starting point of our bearing. So if we keep the protractor here, we need to go 140 degrees. So roughly speaking, 140 could be somewhere here, starting if this is my 0 degrees, because this would be my 90, so 140 would be somewhere here, and it is 28 kilometers. So the real life distance is 28 kilometers. So on paper it's going to be 28 divided by 4, and that is because the scale 1 centimeter is 4 kilometers. So for every 4 kilometer we put only 1 centimeter on the paper. So for 28 kilometers, 28 divided by 4, which is 6 centimeters on the paper. So we start from the north, because this is where we start our bearing from P. We keep our protractor here and we measure 140 degrees starting 0 from here. So 140 could be roughly here, and when we draw this line should be 6 centimeters, and that is the position of the town X. So let's do that. So if this is my straight line representing the north, so I need to go 140 degrees. So from this point here, roughly speaking, this is my 140 degrees, and this length of this line will be 6 centimeters. So you will keep this 6 centimeters, and wherever you measure 6 centimeters, that is the position of town X.